All right, so today we're going to be solving and writing multiplication problems with equations. So, coefficient, go ahead and write this down in your notes. So coefficient is the number that's being multiplied by the variable. So 3x, so the coefficient here is the 3. Okay, we've talked about coefficient before, right? It's the number before the variable. So this is the coefficient, okay? If it was just x, right, the coefficient would be 1, right? So this would be an invisible 1 is the coefficient. The second vocabulary word that I want to talk about is division property of equality. Is when you divide the same number to both sides of the equation, your equation will still be true. So looking at this 10x equals 30, that means that it's 10 times x, right, equals 30. And then we're going to divide both sides by 10, because that's the inverse operation. So we're going to divide by 10, divide by 10. And that means when we divide the same number on both sides, it'll still be equal. So I divide this, so then x equals, and then 30 divided by 10 is just 3. So let's just say I had, let's say 4 equals 4. And then I divide both sides by 2. And I divide this side by 2. Well, 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. So then it checks. All right, so our steps, the first thing that we're going to do is we need to see where the variable is and decide what is happening to the variable, what operation is happening, and then we're going to use the inverse. So this here means 6 times x equals 45. So what does that mean? Well, I found the variable, it's right there, it's being multiplied, so I'm going to use the inverse of multiplication. So that means I'm going to divide by 6 on both sides of the equal sign. When I divide 6 by 6, that just gives me 1 whole, so I'm just left with 1x on the left side. And then I have 45, 6, right? So I'm dividing 45 over 6. Well, what does that equal to? Well, 6 goes into 45 7 times. And then I have how many left over? Well, 7 times 6 is 42. So then I have 3 left over out of 6. So it's just x equals 7 1/2. So I need to check my work. So to check my work, I'm going to rewrite my equation in here. So 6x equals 45. And I'm going to substitute in everything. I'm going to substitute in my solution, which is 7 1/2 into this equation. So I have 7 1/2. So now I need to multiply. So remember that this is 6 times 7 plus 1/2. And we can use distributive property to do this, right? So 7 times 6 is 42. Plus we have 6 times 1/2. And 6 times 1/2 is 3. So we're trying to see, does this equal 45, right? So we're still trying to figure it out. Is it equal to 45? 42 plus 43 is 45. So 45 equals 45, and that checks. All right, so what is my solution? It's x equals 7 1/2. And what property did I use? So looking in here, what did I do to both sides of my equation? I divided by 6, so it's my division property of equality. Now, a mastery level student, instead of doing this division symbol here, they would actually go ahead and show me, they would just go like this and draw a line here and a line here, because this means division. All right, so next I need to solve 2x equals 10. And then you're going to check your solution. So this is the you try, and go ahead and we're going to do 3 after that. All right, so you should have said that it was the division property of equality because you divided by 2 on both sides. Now you can show it like that. You can also do one big line, like one big division sign if that helps you, or you could do the division sign. Doesn't matter, whatever your brain does for you so you can solve it a little bit easier. All right, go ahead and find the solution. All right, so when you divide 2 divided by 2, that's just one whole. So you have x on the left side. And then 10 divided by 2 is 5. So your solution should have been x equals 5. We substituted the 5 in for x to check to make sure that we were okay. And 2 times 5 is 10. So 10 equals 10, so that checks. Go ahead and do example 3. All right, you should have said that you got the division property of equality because you're going to divide by 3 and 2800ths because it's being multiplied by 3 and 2800ths. So to undo multiplication, we divide. Go ahead and find the solution. You're going to divide these two numbers to figure out what the solution is. All right, so 3 and 2800ths divided by 3 and 2800ths is just 1. So 1 times x is just x. So I kind of like draw this giant 1, just it looks like it's crossing off, right? And then 19 and 6800ths divided by 3 and 2800ths is 6. Okay, you just had to put that in your calculator. And then, so your solution should have been 6. To check, you rewrite this initial equation. And then instead of x, we're going to multiply. I usually put parentheses. It makes it easier. And then we multiplied, and that's 19 and 6800ths. And they both equal, so we're good to go. All right, let's look at example 4. It says, Vincent and some friends shared the cost of a package of CDs. The package cost $24 and each person contributed $6. How many friends did Vincent share the cost with? So first we need to define our variable, then we're going to go ahead and solve it. So what is the unknown? What do we know? It says right here in the question, how many friends did he share with the cost with? So we're just going to say F is the amount of friends. Go ahead and write this down. So if we have the amount of friends and we know the package costs $24 and each person contributed 6, right? So if I know that the total was 24 and then we have $6 per amount of friends, right? So I'm going to multiply 6 times F. So now let's go ahead and solve it using the inverse operation. So this is 6 times F. So I'm going to divide by 6 on both sides. Right? So this 6 divided by 6 is 1 whole. So I am left with F equals, and then 24 divided by 6 is just 4. So that means that he shared, with 4 friends. All right, go ahead and do example 5. So just do a little bit, see if you can figure it out. Remember, each box is a different number. So directions. So use digits 1 through 9, at most just one time each. Fill in the boxes to make the equation true. There are actually multiple answers to this problem. So go ahead and give it a try. See if you can do it. All right, go ahead and do number 6. That should have been whoop like that instead. All right, when you solve this one, you should have gotten x equals 7. You should have used the division property of equality, meaning you divided by 5 on both sides and got x equals 7. You can create your own algebraic equation multiplication and solve algebraically and check. Go ahead and do something simple and create your own. All right, we already did 6x equals 45, so go ahead and do 6x equals 42. Go ahead and solve that one. All right, you should have divided by 6 on both sides, and you should have gotten that your solution was 7. Go ahead and do 5h equals 325. All right, you should have gotten h equals 65. Cross off those 5s because 5 divided by 5 is 1. And then 325 divided by 5 is 65. All right, go ahead and do your check for understanding. Good luck.